Beetlejuice.
Beetlejuice. Beetlejuice! It's showtime.
Okay, and so here's trivia on Beetlejuice. Tash, take it away.
Whilst filming Beetlejuice, Tim actually suggested the joke "scared sheetless," from which the studio considered actually, which was
That's
not added.
kind of weird.
Scared sheetless. I love it.
Bit
Such
corny.
bad puns. Yeah, that's the best bit about the film, was really bad puns. $1 million out of the $13 million budget was used on effects, which obviously you can tell, which looked expensive and are expensive.
That was mostly stop motion animation, and Tim wanted the effects to look cheap. But speaking of the visuals, the makeup won an Academy Award.
I'm not surprised. Originally, Sammy Davis Jr. was to play Beetlejuice, which was quite interesting.
I can see that.
I can.
Yeah, Michael was the best choice in the end, though. We'll agree with that.
Instead of the famous dancing, the script wrote that blinds from the Maitlands appeared from the carpet and tied the deeds to their chairs.
And of course, as you all know, the dinner scene is probably one of, well, probably the scene that makes me mostly laugh. Besides the introduction of Beetlejuice, that was also funny.
Yeah.
I've seen The Exorcist like 167 times, and it keeps getting funnier every single time I say it!
Oh my god. I was actually thinking the other day, why didn't he play the mask instead of Jim Carrey?
Yeah. But Jim Carrey's okay in those sort of
Yeah.
roles.
Apparently though, the mask used to be a really dark comic, like Batman now.
Yeah.
Beetlejuice. Okay, I'm getting good.
Yeah, this was a great, I saw this film pretty later in my lineup of Tim Burton films, and like a lot, everyone usually says, like, when I brought up Tim Burton, they always usually think of like Nightmare Before Christmas, Edward Scissorhands, and Beetlejuice, and they were like, oh, you gotta see Beetlejuice, and it's sort of known as a great comedy classic. Yeah, that's pretty much what it is. Again, pretty much like Pee-wee's Big Adventure, you are brought in for a fun ride, and it is so good. And I think people just started to kind of really tap into like Tim Burton's imagination and things like that. Particularly like with the designs of everything. Again, a lot of stop motion used for this one. It looks fantastic, very imaginative. Even saw the drawings in the art book of Tim Burton, and I don't know where to start with this one because it's just so fun. I think usually like with supernatural, it's like I'm trying to think. Where do I start? Like, shall I just start with Beetlejuice himself? Because I'm Michael Keaton, like. Yeah, being introduced, like, you don't really get introduced to the character until, like, halfway through, but man, like, it was worth the wait. It was so, like, he is just, it's one of his most memorable roles besides, like, Batman, and, like, it was, he just cracks me up every time. It's, like, it's so funny, and, he's very sort of cartoony, but not too much, and it's, like, oh my god, like, he's so, I can't put it into words. It's like, you have to watch it, but I'm like laughing on the floor every time I see him. Like, every time he pops up on the screen, the climax just keeps building and it's just, you're kind of like, oh god, like, what are they gonna do? And you're just laughing at the same time, and it's like, you're just, again, it's a fun ride. I thought the Dietzes were hilarious. We got Catherine O'Hara, she's always funny. And, this was Tim's first collaboration with Winona Ryder, and she did a really good, she was the kind of grounding character, and a lot of people really like the character of Lydia. I don't blame them. She's a really fascinating character, and she was, you know, at the same time, she was like, you know, very moody and everything, but she was still funny, you know, and sometimes I find that's hard to pull off, because sometimes you could be funny or annoying, but she managed to get it so that she was funny, as well, but you sort of had a little bit of an emotion for her, and this was pretty much, I think, yeah, a lot of people say that this is pretty much the starting point of her acting career, and that's great, because I love her, she's great, and you know, the character is great as well. I love the set design. Bo Welsh did the production design, and it's really creative. Like, I love, like, you know, the difference between, like, what the Maitlands' vision of their house to the Dietz's version of the house. Like, completely changed. I was like, oh my goodness. I think a lot of people say that probably the most negative thing about the movie are the Maitlands. And the fact that they're kind of boring characters. I won't pretend you know, I don't see where they're coming from, but at the same time, like, I don't mind that, because, you know, Gina Davis and Alec Baldwin, they have their funny moments, so it's not like they're completely bad, but at the same time, the point is that this ordinary couple, they die, they're trying to figure out what the hell is going on around here, and it's them trying to sort of solve problems and, like, you know, whatever. And so, and in some cases it makes the other characters shine a little bit more, and it's them kind of entering the world of the dead. This is what it's like to be dead, this is what it's like to be a ghost, you know, so I'd rather have that than, like, an ordinary couple kind of going into, like, this whirlwind of, like, and craziness, and it's like, you know, it's funny. It's funny when I watch that. So I don't mind them. I think they were really good, and they have their funny moments. It's not like they're, you know, like, boring at the same time. But, you know, it's really great, and, I think I already mentioned the stop motion. I keep going around in circles. Blah, 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 let me think. And again, like, the thing that everyone remembers is just the comedy, and, you know, it's just so funny. Like, I think even Tim was very surprised that probably one of the most funniest scenes was the dinner scene. You know which one I'm talking about, and I just remember the first time I saw her, I was like, mouth wide open, going, what? This is just so funny, and this is so funny, and I kept rewinding it like so many times. I was like, I'm gonna see that scene again. That's hilarious, and like I had to keep watching the Beetlejuice scenes a lot because they were just so entertaining, and it's just so good. Again, like, a lot of people say it's kind of like a cartoon in a live action world. I never think that they go too far into it, where, you know, I soon discovered that a lot of films in the 90s were trying to be like Beetlejuice and really went the wrong way. Like, they were trying to have the same character, kind of same situation where a lot of weird stuff is happening, but, oh god, they just really didn't work. I think, like, the only exception I find is Robin Williams' Genie from Aladdin, because that movie came out a few years later, and I don't mind it because, hey, it's Robin Williams. He was a great guy, you know, he was a great comedian, and he was funny. Like, I kept laughing at him as a kid. Novelty kind of wears off now that I'm a bit older, but I still laugh at him, there's no doubt about that, but I think the reason why I give Williams an exception is because he can improvise. In fact, actually, like, you know, he pretty much improvised the whole thing, pretty much. You know, he just did, like, you know, the scripted lines and stuff, but his recordings went on forever, so they just let him go on and on and on, so he can improvise. So both Robin Williams and Michael Keaton, they can improvise. So if you have an actor that can improvise, you know, great, it will work. And because Genie was animated, there was no limits to what he could do, and so that's fine. So I give Aladdin the exception of that. But there are some that, you know, you're just sitting there, you're going, you're trying to be Beetlejuice, you're trying to be Michael Keaton, and you may be a great actor, but you just can't improvise. Some actors do find it hard to improvise. I find it hard to improvise. You know, the Frozen show that I had to do, oh yeah, I haven't mentioned my new job, but okay. I basically work as a Disney princess. That's my job. And I'm Princess Anna, and we had to do a Frozen show, and we ended up improvising the whole thing. Like, the whole thing. I was like, the kids, all they want to do is like look at us, look at our dresses, and hear the songs. So, you know, it's like, it's fine. So, you know, and some some find it hard, really hard. So when you're sort of put on the spot and you only got yourself to kind of work with, you know, I'm looking at these actors and I'm going, you are really trying, but you just find it so hard. It's like, no, you really have to know what you're doing. And, you know, and sometimes, like, some movies, again, they're trying to be that thing where, you know, you're entering in this weird, insane world, and, like, you know, it just doesn't work. I think the biggest failure for me that was trying to be like Beetlejuice was Son of the Mask. Oh, that was just scary as fuck. You know, those of you who've seen it, oh, no. I still have that imagery in my head, and it's like, ah! You know, I saw this, like, quite young, like, really young, and so I was just like, ah! You know, what the hell are you showing? This is a kid's movie? And I'm like, you know, there's a, you know, I don't mind dark movies for kids, but there has to be a purpose for it. Son of the Mask, they were trying to be like Beetlejuice, failed miserably, you know, and, you know, I appreciate that. Obviously, Beetlejuice was very popular, that people were trying to be like it, but they don't realize, like, why it worked in that one case. Speaking of world, the Land of the Dead, or shall I say, like, I thought was really good. Like, I loved how it had, like, different angles, and, like, there was different designs. The movie, I think they won an Oscar for, like, visual effects or makeup or something, and they are really good. They are really, really good, and so that doesn't surprise me at all. Yeah, if you love Supernatural, if you love comedy, like, you know, if you love Tim Burton, this is definitely a must. I'm glad that it's a classic and people are still remembering it, and people still find it funny. And, you know, even when, like, you know, the Beetlejuice theme came out, like, at Roll Out Behold, we were just like, you know, we were just laughing all the way, because we just remembered how funny it was. Actually, I remember seeing a few people dressed as Beetlejuice and Lydia, so that was really cool. So yeah, it's so imaginative, it's so funny, it's really creative, well acted, well improvised, and just really cool effect. You know, even like, I think most of it is stop motion. Yeah, pretty much the majority of it is stop motion. I think it still holds up even today. I mean, yeah, maybe it looks a little bit old-fashioned, but at the same time, like, it looks really, really good as well, and it's really impressive. I mean, it's stop motion, where can you go wrong with that? So, yeah, it's really imaginative, really fun, and if you want a good laugh, then definitely check Beetlejuice out.